invaders, and welcome to Sin Spacies. This is going to be a look at perhaps one of my favourite, not perhaps, it is my favourite compilation games that have been released in the gaming past, and that is the Sega Megadrive Ultimate Collection. It's known as the Sonic Ultimate Collection in America, and this is over 40 games of pure gold, if you ask me, for the price of entry that you have to pay to get this. Back in the day, it was about $50, $60, I think it was. You could only buy about 5 or 10 of those games if you were to buy them on Xbox Live, and you've already gone over your budget if you were to buy them separately. So from that point of view, this was an awesome release. Also, the fact that the presentation on this game is just pure magic. It is really well done. The company that's gone ahead and released this is a company called Backbone. They used to be called Eclipse. Unfortunately, they no longer exist, which is really sad because they had a history of putting out retro games, emulations, and doing them really well. And this is perfect. The sound is perfect. They even do some arcade games. You'll get to see them from here on the channel because I'll be going through each and every one of these games. Yes, each and every one of these games will be featured on the channel in the coming weeks from here on. Also, one of the things that I managed to pick up, and this is really, really limited. There was only 3,500 of these in the world, and they were only released here in Australia. If you bought them from a company called JB Hi-Fi, if you pre-ordered, you got one of these bad boys. This is the soundtrack on blue vinyl. Now kids, for you Gen Ys out there and younger, this is a record. It's a vinyl. It goes on an album. It spins around. You put a needle on it. Ask your dad. They'll tell you about it, or your parents. But if I can get this out, I'm really trying to be very careful with this because this is one of my most prized possessions. It's two sides. It's not a very long CD. You got me saying it now. It's not a very long album. There's only like 8 tracks, and it doesn't go for very long. But it features. Jeez, I've been very careful with this. I'm going to put it back in its cabinet. It features the soundtrack to Space Harrier, Ristar, Vector Man, Golden Axe, Phantasy Star 2, and Vector Man 2. Probably not the choice of soundtracks I would have went with, but this is, I'm just lucky we got this. This particular one is number 297 out of 3,600 or 3,500 that was released in Australia. There was also a Dreamcast one of these that came out a little later. It was white, and that was for the compilation for the Dreamcast games. I think they only had 5 games on that, including Fishing, Crazy Taxi, and Channel 9. Anyway, that one didn't really get my imagination, and it wasn't done anywhere near as well as this. So rather than me babble on a little more about this, let's just get a look at the presentation. So this video is just going to look at the package itself, and my future videos will be looking at each game. That's right, that's coming up over the next few weeks on the channel. Let's have a look.
Sega.
Alright, so this is a look at the Sega Megadrive Ultimate Collection. If I say Sega instead of Sega, don't kill me because that's how we pronounced it back in the day. And how do I know that? Well, I used to work for Sega of Australia, Sega Aussiesoft as it was called. So once this game came out, I couldn't wait to get my fat hands on this, and I pre-ordered it, as I said in the intro. Because I pre-ordered it, I managed to get myself a huge swag which was the album, the vinyl, 3,500 of them only. Now, one of the things I love about this compilation is that you get your little intro showing there of each game as you go through the list. It shows you what the actual game looks like. I've seen MAME emulators in the past do this, and it's been a feature that I've always wanted, to be able to just select through a game, see the live little preview of what that game looks like in action, and this game does it, and it's just like, I can't give this game enough credit and in its presentation. So that is one thing I love. So yeah, you've got Alex Kidd there. You go down the game that we used to joke about that actually no, it wasn't Alien Storm, sorry, Alien Storm is an awesome game. Altered Beast, Bonanza Brothers, Columns. This is the game we used to joke about that we reckon if we left, this is Sega we're talking about here, if we left boxes of these games out in the street, no one would steal them. Of course that's not true. Columns is actually a decent game, it was very bland. So we've got Comic Zone, Decap Attack, which was also known as Flying Turbo Hat Magical Adventure in Japan, which was loosely based off a Japanese cartoon series, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's kind of like a spiritual successor to Psycho Fox, which was also a pretty cool game. Then we've got Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I'm not going to go on too much about these games one by one because I'm going to be doing individual videos on all of these games over the next coming weeks. Dynamite Heady, I've got to be honest, I haven't got too much of an experience with that, but Treasure, you can't go wrong with Treasure. These guys are awesome. E-SWAT, Echo the Dolphin, Echo Tides of Time, Fatal Labyrinth, Flicky, Game Ground, one of my little favourite games that I used to love killing time with. Golden Axe 1, 2 and 3, Kid Chameleon, Fantasy Star 2, 3 and 4. Now there is also number 1 on this hidden away in amongst the extras, which I'll show you in a second. Ristar, Shining Force, Shining Force 2, Shining in the Darkness. This is awesome. Shinobi 3. Just a shame they couldn't put the Revenge of Shinobi in this game. And I know why they couldn't, but I'll talk about that in a second. It's basically copyrights. Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island, Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. There's a lot of Sonic. Streets of Rage, Streets of Rage 2. My favourite in the series. A lot of people say 3. I kind of stick with 2 because I just had such a great experience with that game. Yeah, in Streets of Rage 3, we've also got Super Thunder Blade and The Story of 4, which is a really cool RPG that I never got to spend enough time with, but I've heard so many good things about it. And also Vector Man and Vector Man 2. You've also got, as you can see, options and extras. In the extras, you've got extra hidden games. Like, as if that wasn't good enough. You get a whole stack of other games, and these are non-Megadrive games exclusive to this collection. So you've got Alien Syndrome, which is a pretty cool little arcade game. Also Altered Beast, the arcade version, if you're into that sort of thing. Wise from your wave. Tip Top, which I don't know why it's called Tip Top, because I've always known this as Congo Bongo, which is also in the Sega SC3000 or the SG1000 from way back before Alex Kidd or even Sonic was a thing. Fantasy Zone on the arcade, I believe. Yep, that's the arcade version. Golden Axe Warrior. Try and picture this. A time when Zelda was a game that was out there in the wild, but I didn't know anything about Zelda because I wasn't a Nintendo fanboy. I was Sega all the way. And this game ripped, I'll just call it as it is, it ripped Zelda off almost identically, but changed the names and changed a few things. And I played this game while working on the Sega hotline, and I was mapping it out, and we just thought this game was awesome. We thought, wow, why isn't this game bigger? And then we found out later that this was a Nintendo game originally, and you know, you got to give kudos to Nintendo for coming up with that game to be the first one. Anyway, moving on, Phantasy Star, by far my favourite, or in the top 3 favourite games on the original Master System, as it says here. I love this game. It had a female protagonist. It was introducing really cool looking animations for the time, with a game style that I'd never played before. So I really dug playing this game, and anyone that hasn't played Phantasy Star, they should go back to it. Do play it though with a guide or a cheat guide. It's just far too tedious to try and guess the really hidden little secrets within the game. You'll enjoy it better playing it with a guide, but that won't take anything away from the experience. It was such a good game. I actually happen to have somewhere in this house a copy of the official Sega of America hint guide that we used to use in Sega of Australia to guide people playing this game, and when they'd call up, we'd be able to help them. There was always 1 or 2 parts in the game that people used to get constantly stuck on. Moving on, Shinobi Arcade. True story. I had Shinobi, the arcade cabinet, in my bedroom when I was about 17 or 18. I had to sell it because I was really broke, poor. I made a profit on it. I do regret selling it. One day, right behind me, there will be an arcade cabinet, and one of the games in it is definitely going to be Shinobi. That's going to be a video for a later time. Then you got Space Harrier. Man, another game that I just really got into in a big way. This game is like a huge letter of love to Sega fans, and I just can't get enough. And having stuff like this on the game, in the package, it's just a shame they didn't put Space Harrier 2 on this. I'm not sure why. I would like to see one day a sequel to this compilation. I think that there are plenty of games out there that they have missed that could make this compilation. And the last one is Zaxxon, the arcade version. I think that I have unlocked pretty much everything that this game has to offer. You've got interviews with the developers using subtitles. The footage seems to be like some Sega stock footage from the past.
ストーリーの流れがありまして、3っていうのはちょっと外伝的な感じなんですよ。で作ってるメンバーも3だけちょっと違うメンバーで作ってまして、グラフィックの雰囲気とかそういうものもちょっと違いまして、外伝的な位置づけですね。
Alright, so I'm not going to show that. That's something I'm sure you could look up on the internet, on YouTube easily enough yourself, but there's quite a few interviews there that give a bit of an insight as to what the developers were thinking. Without this game ever being released, I don't think I would have ever got to see that footage. So, you know, I'm thankful for that. By the way, that lady there is actually the one that was responsible for Phantasy Star 4. So all those people that love Phantasy Star 4, you should thank this woman here. She's the one you got to go to thank for that. Right, wow. So that's all the extras, and in the options you've got all your autosave functions there, save settings, etc. You've got basic sound options, not really much there, but you've also got filters, so you can sort it out by year, by genre, by favourites or alphabetical. Those little red dots that you see there, that's basically my rating out of 5 for each of these games. I haven't really spent much time getting those as accurate as I'd like, so don't read too much into what you see there. Although Fantasy Star 3, I'm going to rate that as a 1. I can't stand that game. And they talk about it actually in the interview about what they wanted to put to the series and why it was such a mess. Yeah, bit of a shame. That's one game that I would. That's one game that I would really like to see brought back to life. Is the original Fantasy Stars. Not sure we're ever going to see that. Right, so one of the cool things that each game does offer you is a little museum. And if you... Okay. God, that looks so cool. So if you press B, that gets you into the museum. And here you go. This is, surely you're familiar with this game. It's the very first adventure for the blue dude with the Jude. To give you a little bit of a rundown, did you know Sonic the Hedgehog first released on the 23rd of June 1991? The game's 10th anniversary, Sega celebrated by releasing Sonic Adventure 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. A Japanese 10th anniversary birthday pack of Sonic Adventure 2 also included a soundtrack, CD, and a historical booklet and a collectible coin. I've actually got that. Really cool to have that. I don't have the 20th anniversary one though. Anyway, so that's the Genesis version of the artwork. Pretty cool. There's the cart, which is different to what we got here in Australia. Is it going to let me choose? It only, oh, that's pretty bad. It only shows you the American version. At least it shows you something, I guess. Oh no, there you go. Okay. Oh no, that just takes you to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's a shame they don't put in Sega Megadrive and also the Japanese Megadrive versions of the artwork. That would have been pretty cool, but yeah, minor little grief that I've got with the game. So that's what the game looks like by default, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of the borders, but this is how I will be playing it for my playthroughs, because I want to be able to put my mug in the shot without blocking the game footage, and this is authentically how it should look. I'll let you in on a little secret. I hate this level. It is so boring. That's just my... I love the fact though that you can now play this on a modern console and save the damn game, because you couldn't save on the original one. And that Sonic is a pretty long game actually by you know, back the standards back then. And having to start from Green Hill Zone every time. So this is what it looks like when you're playing. And as you can hear, the sound is very faithful to the original. Why wouldn't it be? They've done an awesome job of emulating this to the console. You'd think a guy that used to work at Sega would be better at Sonic than this. I have got a pretty good time on this stage though. Sweet. Oh, I missed the bonus stage. So yeah, that's been my quick intro to the compilation. Over the next few coming weeks, I will be doing a bit of a rundown on every single game that is on this disc, and the reason why I'm doing it is because I think that every game on this compilation is worth having a look. A lot of these games are hidden gems, which are now not so hidden because they've been brought out by this disc.
And to be quite honest, I'm actually looking forward to going through each and one of these games. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little quick rundown. So this is just a brief look at the game, and I just love this this collection, and I can't wait to bring you all these titles one by one. And the first one I'm going to start off with is Alex Kidd, and that is in itself, it's got a little background story which I'll tell you in the video. So for now, my name's been Brian and I've been gaming since Spacies. Thanks guys.